How to read electrical diagrams. This presentation will help us navigate and choose the correct diagrams for our coach as we needed to successfully make repairs as needed. With over 20 years and 7,000 Van Hool motor coaches in North America, it's important to choose the correct diagram to match the vehicle that you're using. This is the cover sheet in electrical diagram. In the very center we'll see the coach type. This is a TD925 for the US market. That tells me that this is a double-decker bus that we've been using for the last 3 years. Type of diagram, this one's for electricity. The diagram number, the 11093-043, will tell us that. The VIN number is covered, 42319 to 42463. And the date of this diagram, 2008 of October. And the modification, this one's modification A. If given the choice, I usually like to take the latest modification I can find so I can have the best options for the successful repair. Caution statement. Caution. The use of portable phones and transmitting equipment inside the vehicle could disrupt normal operation of the electrical equipment and thus jeopardize the vehicle's reliability. In order not to endanger your vehicle's reliability, only use portable phones and transmitting equipment inside the vehicle if they are connected to an exterior antenna. Van Hool rejects any responsibility for the consequences of adding electrical appliances or modifying electrical circuits by other parties. And by portable phones, we're referring to phones that are connecting to landlines on the outside, not including cellular phones, and any modification needs to be carefully considered because of the exact precise engineering of the circuits and the size of the wire inside the coach, not to put any additional undue load on them. General index. Inside the general index we'll see different things: color codes of wires, drawing symbols, codes, list of fuses or circuit breakers, list of relays, list of diodes, and a list of the schematics that we're using. Below we have all the different schematic listings, from distribution of power to warning lamps to engine, and jumping down to gearbox, which we refer to as a transmission. 36 will include lighting, exterior, turn signals, and interior, and jumping down to the bottom, 50 for HVAC. Here's a page of our color codes. Let's look at this page a little closer. On our color code list, you'll see in the left column abbreviations. These abbreviations will give us an interpretation from the Dutch wording. And on the right column will be the color in English. Z, zwart in Dutch, will be black. The rest of the abbreviations follow pretty close. BR for brown, R for red, O for orange, GE is one to remember for yellow, GN for green, B for blue, V for violet, GS will be gray, W for white, T for transparent, and RO for pink. There are two types of color codes used throughout the electrical drawings. Here we can see a yellow, which would be GE, that'll be a solid color, or a solid color with a single tracer, GE-B. Over on the left we can see GS circled. Looking at our color codes, we can find out that is a gray wire. V-R. That tells me this is a violet wire with a red. Here we'll look at wire sizes. As we look on the schematic to the left, we'll see where it says GEN6. So that'll be a green wire, 6 millimeter square. The American conversion will be 8 gauge. Here we'll see a red wire, 120 millimeters square. That'll be a 5/0 cable. All wire sizes indicated in the drawings are metric and refer to conductor wire size millimeters square. If replacements are needed, refer to wire size table for appropriate replacement. Too small a replacement will act like a fusible link, and too large of a replacement is unnecessary copper and weight inside the coach. All wires with no indication of size in the drawings will be 1 millimeter square or 16 gauge. Here is a list of symbols that we'll find inside of our electrical drawing schematics. Over on the right in the red circle, I have a symbol for a fuse. The number by the fuse, Z825, tells me the number, that fuse or circuit breaker, and below it, the 8A will represent the amperage rating, 8 amps. Now in the red circle, we have a resistor. This is resistor number R510.5. KL539 in the red circle will represent warning lamps. So as you can see, the symbols relate in this drawing what we see in the page. There are other codes that we'll find in our electrical drawings. In this red circle we have B+, powered supplied direct from battery. So that means anytime the battery cables are connected to the battery, that we'll have 24 volts on this circuit. Next we see plus 30. Plus 30 is power supplied with the master switch. So anytime the master switch is switched on the dash, the master switch relay will be engaged, supplying 24 volts to this circuit. Plus 15, power supplied with the ignition switch. Doesn't represent 15 volts, but this symbol will tell us whenever the ignition switch is on, that circuit should be live. XX1236B. What this represents in the red circle is wire continues to another page. For example, continues to page 36B and we'll find XX12. One thing to remember when we get to 36B and find XX12, that the number in the square will represent the destination in which we came from. P101.3. This will tell us plug number and pin number. For example, plug 101 and pin number 3 inside the plug. TB10 is indicated on the index page as a terminal stud, 24 volts. On this index page we show, over in the right upper hand corner, 05A1. And in the middle of these three words we can see the English current distribution. The top square highlighted will give us a reminder of different codes that we might see for our inside of our drawing. And below that will show the items or components that are listed on the drawing. In the lower left hand corner you'll find some engineer notes. This tells us this drawing is for a TD925. It shows us if there's been any updates to this diagram. Shows the page circuit and description. This one happens to be current distribution. And the diagram page number, 05A1, this one is. And also we have the diagram page part number, 11075163/3. This page is showing us the drawing and how it's divided up within the coach. Above the top blue dotted line will show us the EKM. The EKM will be the electrical box in the middle of the coach. Everything above that dotted line should be located in that area. Below that, above the green dotted line, we'll find IB. IB will be for instrument board or dashboard. Once again, we followed through to EKM, the middle electrical box. In the red dotted line, we'll see EKA. That'll be the electrical box in the rear, where you can find such fuses as Z86, 85, 84, and 150. Then also EKA is in a different part of the schematic here, representing the rear electrical box. And as you notice, there's nothing representing where the alternators are, alternator 1 and 2. But of course, if you have to ask this question, maybe you should find a new technician to work on your coach. Now we'll follow a simple circuit going to its destination. At the very top of the page, above the orange highlighted line, will be B+. He's coming from circuit breaker Z80, which is 8 amps. That wire is going to be red with a yellow tracer with no number behind it, so that tells us it's 16 gauge. He's going to pass through plug 101, pin 8, and then head to the instrument board where you'll find S514. After he's passed through there, you'll pass through plug 101, pin 1. Now you can see a different change in the wire. The color is switched now to white with an orange stripe after it made its last junction point at the switch and heading down to relays 511.3 and 511 master disconnect relay. Troubleshooting tips. Know your circuit you're working on. Check for clean and tight connections. Check all plugs are insecurely and corrosive free. And pick a starting point to start checking your circuit. For questions regarding this webcast, please contact Marvin Bontrager at mbontrager@abc-companies.com.